Hello class, I'd like to talk about tables in Dreamweaver. Now tables used to be used for design of your page, the actual layout. That's very outdated now. Probably been close to 10 years since people started using CSS for development, layout, and design of your page. If you do see a site that is designed in tables, it usually means that it was designed a long time ago, or the developer really didn't know what they were doing. So you don't want a full site anymore designed in tables. Tables do work, however, as a placeholder for your content. Like if you have an image and text and you want to fit it into a division tag layout, like a layout like this, tables work really well for that. So they're not completely useless yet. They're still used for holding your data, but they're not used for design. Dreamweaver makes it really easy to create tables, so I'm going to show you how to do that. I'll start out with a blank canvas here just to show you what that looks like. I'm going to do Insert Table, and I'll just choose, let's say, 4 rows and 4 columns. Let's do the width in pixels. Let's do 400 pixels. You can do %, and that would stretch out across the whole screen. And then you can do the border thickness. We'll use 1 just so you can see it. Usually you would use 0. And then cell spacing and cell padding, that's totally up to you. I'll leave it at 0 also. Okay, and I'll click OK. And there's your table. If you want to check out the code, just come back to code, and there it is. It puts a non-breaking space in each of your rows or cells. So if you wanted to change this table around a little bit, it's pretty much completely customizable in Dreamweaver. Like let's say you wanted to merge some of these cells, so you can highlight the cells and use this little button down here at the bottom where my mouse is for merge selected cells. Then if you go back to your code, you'll see the call span, which you probably learned when you were hand coding HTML. And then if I did merge a couple of columns here, same thing. I'll merge that. You can also split cells if you need to, if you highlight them. Back to the code, there's the row span. Okay, and then you can also click inside of here and change background colors, for example, if you wanted to do that. You can also ID tables or to work with CSS. So if you do actually ID them, that means you can put in a rule that corresponds to that table. Probably wouldn't need to do that very often, but you could. So that's really it. That's all there is to it as far as creating tables. So if you insert table, and then there is a table objects which allow you to control, for example, insert rows or columns, tr, th. You just won't use this a whole lot. That's why I'm just doing one short video on it. I'll show you how you will use tables. My recommendation would be, let's say you have a layout like this. Let me do a quick file preview in browser just to remind you what this one looks like. This is the one that centers on the screen. It's got the curved division tag layouts here, the curved corners. Let's say that at the bottom you wanted to have a paragraph of text, and then you wanted to have an image right beside of it, maybe like a thumbnail or 2 right beside of it. So the way that works is I'll go back to Dreamweaver, select the division tag where you would like that table to be located. Okay, so let's say that we want it to be in this white division tag here. Also notice that the Dreamweaver does not show you those rounded columns. You have to actually check the browser for that. So how do you select the division tag? Usually you can just click in it, and to know if you're in the right division tag, you can type a few things here. So you can see I'm in the right division tag. You could also select down here at the bottom. You can see that's div ID content. That would select the division tag for you. Or you could go back to the code and click inside of the division tag there. So I'll click inside of the division tag. Then I'm going to do Insert Table. And when you're doing the placeholder table for your data, usually it's going to be something really simple. For example, we could do 1 row in this case and 2 columns. And then the width, if you wanted it to match or be close to the entire division tag, I might do like 900. And then border thickness of 0. And you might want some cell spacing and cell padding on there just to put a little space around your content. We'll leave it at 0 though. And click OK. And now you can see I've got a nice little area right here to go ahead and put in my content. Now it's not centered. If I did want to center, I can always come back to the CSS and align center, and that's going to center that table. So I just clicked in my division tag and I use CSS and center right there. And then in this cell on the left here, this is where you would have your content, like your actual text. So text goes here. And then on the right, you can tab, and then you're probably going to put a little thumbnail here or something, so image. Now, if the cells aren't exactly even, you can always take your mouse, put it right on that cell, and drag left or right, and then put that wherever you want it. And if you hit tab again, then you'll put another row on there. So you can see that this is a good way to put inside of your division tag a way for your content to display on here. Let me preview this in a browser, and then I'll show you one more, or I'll mention one more thing to you about this. So Chrome. Okay, so again, here's my website. You can see that now I've got an easy way to display the content inside of that division tag. So what's happening here though is that if you're going to use a table inside of your division tag, it's probably going to fit best into a layout that's centered. If you're going to be using left-hand side, like a layout that's on the left-hand side with absolute positioning and everything just stays static and doesn't center, doesn't move at all, you may just be able to use multiple division tags, and then you don't have to use a table as much. But the table works well because it cuts down on the code that you have to use. You know, as far as the number of division tags, you don't have to put a division tag in for every single piece of content that you have. And then, you know, assign a rule to it like that. You don't have to do that. You can assemble a nice simple division tag layout with your separate CSS, and then put a table inside of that. As long as it's simple, you don't want to get, you know, too complicated with these tables, because they could they're going to add too much to your code, and that could affect your design, could break parts of your design if you're not careful. But just putting a simple table inside of a division tag is a nice way to start filling in some content. One other thing here, and then I'll cut this movie off. This area right here where this big photo is of the car, that could work fine also for a table. You just have to have this as a background in the division tag. So for example, if I click this, click delete, and then I go into the media, background, and then the background image, I'll go ahead and select that. Okay, now this actually, you could insert a table right into this. So if I insert table now, I'll just do the same thing. You can see that there's a table now inside of this, and you can type on top of it. So that's usually not going to work as well if you have an image, because text can be hard to read. But if you faded that image out enough, you could do that, or you may be able to put some other content on top of that that would, you know, images on top of that might look interesting. So that's it for this tutorial, just giving you an introduction to table design in Dreamweaver, both from scratch using insert table, and then also inserting that table into a pre-made layout.